Well, it's basted, but it wasn't pretty, and of course, it's all on film. Hey guys, welcome back to Frances Quilts. Today I want to tell you the story about basting this particular quilt. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't enjoy the basting process. Back when I used to use safety pins and put 100 pins in a quilt, that was just a horrible process to me. Then I learned to use fusible batting, and that was easier, but I still had to crawl around on the floor. Then I switched to spray basting. Same thing. It was so much easier, but I still had to crawl around on the floor to fix it and to get everything in place. Then I took a class from Krista Watson of Frances Quilts, and she suggested spray basting on your design wall. Man, does that make it easier. If the quilt is small enough that it will fit on your design wall, it is the only way to go. But it didn't work too well this time, and I actually have it all on video so you can see it. But it started with one problem. I cut my batting too narrow. I knew it needed to be 68 inches. I was planning in my head it needed to be 68 inches, and I cut it 64 inches. And of course, I didn't have enough batting to recut another one. So instead of adding some batting to the edge of it, I decided I was just going to make it work. Well, it got really close, and because of that, I had to be really careful when I was positioning the quilt, and because of that, I had to reposition the quilt 2 or 3 times, and the whole process just ended up a little weird. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can see it yourself. So I have already sprayed the backing fabric with the 501 spray that I use from Sawtooth, and I'm pinning it up onto my design wall. You can tell it's kind of stuck together there. This is a great way to base these quilts. I really enjoy doing them on the design wall. Now I'm bringing over the fateful batting that was cut too narrow, sticking it down just a little bit here. Sometime in here is when I realize, oh my gosh, I have a problem. I'm using a ruler to smooth it out. This works so much better than just using your hands. And again, I'm starting to realize, okay, I may have trouble on that side. So I'm trying to stretch it as far as I can to get it over as much as I can. Obviously, it would have been better probably if I had taken the batting off and moved everything over a little bit now, but I did not do that. So once it's all smoothed in, I go out now and I bring in the quilt top. And this is just an extra step that I do. I just pin it up here to give me some idea of how it's going to fit on the wall and where the center is going to be and that sort of thing. And again, I'm going, okay, I don't have a whole lot of room on that right-hand side. But okay, I guess that will work. So I go back up and just mark where my center is. Now I'm going to take that top outside and spray it, and then bring it back in. Same thing, I'm starting just pinning it at the top just to hold it in place. And I pull it out. It's all stuck together there, so I'll pull it out and let it fall. Yeah, it looks like it might work, so let's just start pressing it down a little bit. And then I realized, no, it's not going to work, so I'm going to have to move it over a little bit. So pin it in place, let it fall, and now I decided to start on that edge and work my way over to the other edge. So at this point, it's going fairly well. I was checking there just a second ago to see if all the corners were square, and they were. So I'm taking the pins out and getting ready to pull it off the wall. I'm going to take it to my cutting board now and trim off all of those edges. And believe me, there were a couple of them that there was just probably 1/4 of an inch to trim. There was not much room at all. But it's stuck down now, so it should be fine. Final step is to put it on the ironing board and just give it a quick press with a little bit of steam. Again, here I'm just trying to set those fabrics well, set that glue well, so that the sandwich will hold together well. Next step is to take it into one of my extra bedrooms and lay it out on the bed. I like to let it just sit for a little while and just rest. But when I flipped it over, I realized that there were some places that I had not done a good job of basting. So you see here, I'm peeling that backing off and rebasting some of those areas. Fortunately, with the basting spray, it is removable and you can redo it several times if you need to. So that's looking all right. Let's flip it over again, and I see one corner over here that needs a little bit of work as well. So I'm going to do the same thing, just come back in and do a little bit more fixing there so that it's nice and straight. So you can see that one decision of doing that one thing wrong made the entire process harder. But the good news, the quilt is basted. Even though it was painful, even though I had to redo some things on it, it is basted and ready to quilt, and I can't wait to start the quilting on it. I've been thinking about some fun ideas for these center blocks right here, and next week we will be looking at that and making a start on those, so I can't wait to show that to you. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me today, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time on Frances Quilts.
Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francesquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Frances Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.